Jake Paul's rise in the world of professional boxing has never followed a traditional path. From the moment he first stepped into the ring, critics have questioned his motives, his opponents, and his skill. Yet, despite widespread skepticism, Paul has continued to draw enormous crowds and headline major events, turning himself from a viral YouTuber into a legitimate boxing attraction. His matches, often filled with controversy and spectacle, have brought in both loyal fans and vocal detractors. But as he prepares for what many consider his most serious test to date, against former WBC middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Paul finds himself surrounded by a storm of allegations that go far beyond pre-fight banter. The newest controversy centers around performance-enhancing drugs, with Chavez Jr. publicly accusing Paul of doping, threatening to overshadow the fight itself. This bout, set for June 28th at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, is expected to draw major attention both in the boxing world and beyond. The matchup pits two very different figures against each other. Jake Paul, the new age entertainer turned boxer known for his flashy entrances and online presence, versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a name steeped in tradition and boxing royalty. With contrasting styles, backgrounds, and reputations, the fight had already promised drama, but the tension boiled over well before the opening bell. During a fiery segment on DAZN Boxing's YouTube show Face Off, what should have been a typical promotional interview designed to hype the fight quickly turned into a verbal war. After Chavez Jr. dropped an unexpected accusation, speaking through a translator, he looked directly at Paul and claimed he said he seemed to be taking some **T, referring to suspected drug use. The tone shifted instantly from banter to confrontation, and the moment went viral within hours. Jake Paul, never one to shy away from controversy, responded with his usual mix of sarcasm and bravado. Rather than escalating the argument, Paul referenced VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, an independent body known for conducting unannounced drug tests on professional fighters. He pointed to his willingness to be tested and even suggested that Chavez Jr. didn't understand the protocols in place. Dismissing the accusations outright, Paul fired back, calling his opponent a dumbass and implying that Chavez Jr. was simply trying to stir up drama to regain the spotlight. Yet despite Paul's quick response, the accusation had already sparked intense conversation online. Social media lit up with fans dissecting every word, questioning the validity of the claims, and reigniting old debates about Paul's legitimacy as a boxer. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., however, was not content with a single accusation. He doubled down during the same interview, insisting that Paul had not been properly tested before his previously scheduled fight with boxing legend Mike Tyson, a bout that was later postponed due to Tyson's health issues. Chavez Jr. also brought up Paul's 2023 exhibition fight against former UFC fighter Mike Perry, stating that neither he nor Paul had been subjected to drug testing before that match either. These allegations, while unproven, fueled speculation and drew renewed scrutiny from boxing fans and analysts. Although Chavez Jr. failed to provide any hard evidence, his comments were enough to reignite suspicions among those who already doubted Paul's rapid rise in the sport. For Paul, who's been working hard to be taken seriously by the boxing establishment, these claims could not have come at a worse time. The backdrop to all of this controversy is Chavez Jr.'s own complicated legacy in the sport. While he holds an impressive record on paper, 50 for wins, with 30 for coming by way of knockout, alongside 6 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest, his career has been marred by inconsistency, disciplinary issues, and long periods of inactivity. Once considered a rising star capable of living up to the legacy of his legendary father, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., the younger Chavez has struggled to stay on track. Since 2019, he secured just 2 victories, one of them being a 2024 win against former MMA fighter Uriah Hall. Though that fight marked his return after nearly 3 years away from the ring, it did little to quiet doubts about his conditioning or focus. Many experts believe that Chavez Jr. is no longer the same athlete he once was, and his repeated setbacks have cast a long shadow over his current ambitions. Still, whether the allegations are a strategic distraction or a genuine concern, they've added a new layer of tension to the upcoming fight. Jake Paul's supporters argue that the YouTuber-turned-boxer is constantly targeted by critics, who refuse to accept his evolution as a serious athlete. Meanwhile, Chavez Jr.'s defenders see his comments as the words of an experienced fighter who knows the industry inside and out. Regardless of which side fans believe, the drama has only intensified interest in the June 28th matchup. Beyond the punches and the final scorecards, what's at stake is credibility. For Paul, it's a chance to prove once and for all that he belongs in the ring with seasoned professionals. For Chavez Jr., It's an opportunity to redeem a once promising career and potentially hand Paul his second professional loss. As the countdown of fight night continues, all eyes are on Anaheim not just to see who wins, but to see whose version of the truth rings loudest. The timing of these accusations also couldn't be more strategic or suspicious, depending on how you look at it. With only days left before fight night, Chavez Jr.'s decision to raise concerns about doping has sparked speculation about his true motives. Some believe it's a last-ditch effort to rattle Jake Paul mentally and shift the narrative in his favor, especially considering Chavez Jr.'s rocky track record. After years of public criticism for missed weight, underwhelming performances, and perceived lack of discipline, the former champion may be looking to regain relevance not through action in the ring, but by creating noise outside of it. And in the media-driven world of modern boxing, even controversy can become a valuable tool. If Chavez Jr. can raise enough doubt in the minds of fans, it may tilt public perception regardless of the outcome on June 28th. Still, it's important to remember that Jake Paul is no stranger to this kind of drama. In fact, controversy has almost become a core part of his boxing identity. Whether it's feuding with UFC President Dana White, calling out retired legends, or building tension through over-the-top promotions, Paul has built his reputation on blending spectacle with sport. What makes the situation different, though, is the nature of the accusation. Doping allegations carry a weight that can follow a fighter long after the final bell rings. Even if no evidence surfaces, the mere suggestion can cast a shadow over any win he secures. That's why Paul's response was swift and direct. He knows that in boxing, perception can be as damaging as proof. And with his credibility still a work in progress, he can't afford for any stain, real or imagined, to stick for the boxing community. This saga raises a broader question about how the sport handles drug testing transparency. While organizations like VADA are tasked with conducting independent and random testing, their involvement often depends on the contracts negotiated between fighters and promoters. In the world of high-profile exhibition matches and crossover bouts where traditional boxing regulations are sometimes relaxed or bypassed altogether, testing procedures aren't always consistent. That inconsistency fuels speculation and opens the door for accusations like those made by Chavez Jr. As more celebrities and influencers enter the sport, many boxing purists are calling for stricter, standardized protocols to ensure a level playing field. Whether this particular incident leads to changes remains to be seen, but it certainly reinforces the need for clarity in a sport already riddled with controversy. From a fan perspective, the situation has added a layer of intrigue to a fight that was already compelling for its clashing styles and personalities. Supporters of Jake Paul are rallying behind him, defending his record and pointing out that he's passed previous drug tests without issue. Meanwhile, Chavez Jr.'s loyal followers are interpreting his bold claims as a brave act from a veteran, trying to preserve the sport's integrity. On social media, the debate has become almost as entertaining as the fight itself. Every new clip, tweet, or interview is dissected for clues, as fans try to separate truth from gamesmanship. If nothing else, the tension has guaranteed that the spotlight on June 28th will be even brighter than originally anticipated. As both fighters continue their final preparations, one thing is clear: this match has evolved into more than just a contest between two men. It's now a battle over reputations, legacies, and public trust. Jake Paul is fighting not just to win, but to validate his position in a sport that has never fully embraced him. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is fighting not only to defeat Paul, but to prove he still belongs on the big stage after years of decline. The doping accusations have added a deeper, more personal layer to what was already a high-stakes event. And when the bell rings in Anaheim, the outcome will determine much more than a win or loss. It will shape the way both fighters are remembered going forward.